Welcome back to Pembrey. It is Nick Grindrod who leads. Now up into second place has gone Steve Dance in 16. Then it's Paul Tompkins third. Phil White in 63 about to challenge for that. Comes offline, looks down the inside. He's too far back as they go into Hatchett's the hairpin. Then into Spitfires, which is a right-hander here, where Dave Longhurst goes through past 98, Anthony Hawkins. Then it's two left corners, DeBenny, which is where they are now, through turn 4 as well, which is a left-hander. And then the right-hander at the S's is the next one. You'll see when the cars switch to the right, they go through there. Now Phil White dropping back into the clutches of Dave Longhurst in 23. So the Sussex-based driver looking at the Middlesex man at the moment. Both of these guys have World Championship pedigree in short oval racing. Phil White, the only driver to have won the National Hot Rod and National Super Rod Championship. In fact, he did it on the same weekend several years ago, and he's this year's Rockingham Championship winner. 60 years of age now, Phil White. And like Pete Stevens, who's sadly not racing with us this weekend, proof that you don't need to be a youngster to do well. Dave Longhurst looking up the inside. He's got a slightly better run than we saw Steve Dance do earlier on. Made the move early. That's the sort of thing you expect from Dave Longhurst. Thinks about it well in advance. Look how tight that Phil White goes. And you can see the little mark on the side of Phil's car, which the tyre mark on the number, which we call a Catherine wheel. It just shows how close these cars are getting. Michael Smith down behind them as they go through DeBenny. That's the crossover point from the outer paddock into the inner paddock. Here's Steve Dance running in second place. And there's the man he's chasing up front, Nick Grindrod. The car's coming down into the Brooklands hairpin. Dave Longhurst in 23, the West Park Contractors car. 0 kg in terms of ballast, so he's been out of the podium positions the last few races. There is Charlie Weaver in 20, still running well. So Longhurst and Phil White, followed by Michael Smith in 93. Race wins so far this year. Nick Grindrod with 8, Steve Dance 6. Cole Boardley, who's not with us this weekend, has had 3 wins. He was well up in the championship. And here comes Michael Smith looking at the inside of Phil White. There's smoke coming out of the back of the Denham Car Centre truck, and through goes Michael Smith in 93. The A1 Performance Products machine goes through, makes up a place. So Michael Smith then, that does seem to be the most popular place to pass here at Pembrey for the trucks. There are plenty of other options as well. Of course, we saw Nick Grindrod take the lead on a different part of the circuit. And Michael Smith's got a problem. Off goes the 93 truck, half spin, glances into the tyres, spins around. That'll bring out the yellow flags. And will take the pressure off Nick Grindrod. Not that I think there's any on him at the moment. So the 22 truck coming out of the last corner, Honda, and then down the straight. There is Steve Dance second. Now, interesting to see that Paul Tompkins is putting him under pressure. Paul Tompkins got a second in the final here in the opening round of the season. And this is his second year. The rest of the guys have got so much experience in pickups. Paul Tompkins, for my money, has really marked himself out as a driver that could well be a future champion in pickups. And that is a very difficult thing to do, because this is one of the few formulas in the UK where drivers really do stick with it. You tend not to get that many drivers moving on. Here comes Steve Dance, still there in 16. As we said, quadruple champion. Another driver that raced on the short oval, started off in the 3-litre Capri Super Rod formula back in the tail end of the 1970s. And he's got big family support. He's got a very loyal team that works so hard on it. And Paul Tompkins is taking the battle back to him at the moment. So Tompkins closing in, and he's going to put Dance under pressure. We've not seen this kind of thing before. Once you get Grindrod and Dance out front, it's very rare that anybody can challenge them. But at the moment, Nick Grindrod is away and down the road, and it looks like Tompkins is going to have a go. Down into, oh, well, he's a little bit far back. Camera angle's just slightly flattering to deceive there as we go back on board with Steve Dance. A little bit of a wobble on the car there, perhaps a little bit tail happy. Might not be overly enthusiastic about the setup on the truck at this stage, but he's been mightily consistent over the course of the season. So too has Paul Tompkins, as off goes Charlie Weaver. Weaver Brothers Roofing back truck is out of harm's way. There is Lee Rogers, who's running well, started 10th, and he's up into 6th position. So it's been a good run for the Exeter driver. This pretty much his home track, although it's still a long drive round as Paul Tompkins continues to put the pressure on. Tompkins has not had a non-finish so far this year. Steve Dance has had one, Let's hope that I don't put the curse of the commentator on Paul Tompkins in car number 12. There is Nick Grindrod, yellow and red, going through, race leader, looking for win number 9 of the championship year. Steve Dance in 16 is still in second place. Paul Tompkins, car number 12, former world banger champion. Totally different discipline for him, and here he comes down the inside. Side by side with Steve Dance, who will have seen him. Now Dance could chop across, but I think he's going to be... Yeah, look at that, hard on the brakes, and he's through. Paul Tompkins goes through into second place. That is a key manoeuvre for Paul Tompkins. Look at the tail end, he gets it out, he's working hard. Nick Grindrod's got a huge lead at the moment over the pair of them, but Paul Tompkins has passed the quadruple champion, and that's going to be a big psychological boost for Tompkins going forward in this racing, because now he knows that he can outrace Steve Dance on his day. This has surely got to be Paul Tompkins' best circuit. Won at Rockingham on the ovals last year, so that marks him out as a driver now who is well good on the ovals and good too here on the circuits. This is all a new discipline for him, road racing, of course, from last year, his debut season. And Dance dropping back, may well have a problem with the truck. And Paul Tompkins, for my money, is starting to close in on Nick Grindrod. Grindrod's got the fastest lap. That was back on lap 3, 63.47 seconds, 82.58 miles per hour here around Pembrey. So Grindrod is out front. Paul Tompkins second, Steve Dance third, Dave Longhurst is fourth. Then it's Anthony Hawkins. We've had quite a few trucks go into retirement, and this reverse grid race has given us some superb action. We've got a stationary yellow flag there as they came out of hatchets, and I think that's Phil White who's off in 63, but Paul Tompkins having no problems at all. There is Tompkins getting away at the moment from Steve Dance. They head down toward, there is Phil White's truck, 63. So disappointment for Phil, who runs very strongly in the championship. I think that's actually Phil's first retirement of the year. Such has been excellent preparation on the Denham Car Centre machine. But here is Nick Grindrod, the 22 truck with the Paul Exxon Duratec engine, the man from Selly Oak, who is having a go now at trying to equal Gavin Seeger's career wins record. Gavin Seeger, who was a former champion, and Nick's going to have to win every race between now and the end of the season at Brands Hatch to equal Gavin Seeger's record. That is a very tall order in pickup truck racing. Steve Dance closing up on Paul Tompkins again. Tompkins will no doubt be having a look at his mirrors. You can see the 12 truck getting a little bit tail happy, but he's controlling it well. Through they go, out of the S's and then down towards the Brooklands hairpin and towards Honda for the last time. But here is Nick Grindrod, who is going to take win number 9 in terms of race wins, the most successful driver in the championship so far, Nick Grindrod, in 22. He's had 2 retirements this year, one at Thruxton, one at Snetterton, and he takes the checkered flag. Grindrod wins it. Paul Tompkins, second again here at Pembrey. Steve Dance is third. Confirmation of that, Dave Longhurst was 4th ahead of Anthony Hawkins. Then Lee Rogers, he made up places from his grid start. Mike Smith 7th, James Goldstraw in 8th place. A few retirements who will now be busy down in the paddock getting ready for race 2. Fastest lap does indeed go to race winner Nick Grindrod.
Nick started on the 4th row, came through to win it. How does it feel?
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It wasn't as easy as it looked. Managed just to get through them, pick them off one at a time, and 20 laps was a long way around Pembrey. Managed just to keep there and keep a gap once we got a gap.
And how different is it to be driving? We saw you at Rockingham last time on our series on the oval. How different is it to be driving this track?
It's a completely different discipline. The trucks are almost identical bar setup, exactly the same. So it's just down to the driver's mindset. Rockingham's a lot more strategic, shall we say. You've got to think about the race, and you can do it like that. Where most people who know circuit racing, you can make a little bit up on braking. You're a bit quicker here than somebody else, but you lose out over there. So it's a bit of swapping backwards and forwards. But yeah, one chalk and cheese, shall we say.
And second place goes to Paul Tompkins. Paul, it's only your second year doing this class, and you've now moved up 3rd into the points. How was that race?
Well, obviously it was good because we got a second, but first would have been better. So next race, we go for first.
And how How close were you to chasing down Nick there? You looked really quick at the end of the race.
He'd already got away from me. I did try to catch him, but there wasn't no catching him. He was just a little bit too far away from us.
And what are you hoping for the rest of the day?
To keep on the track, finish the race, but up in the podiums, so we can claw them top two back in a little bit.
Finishing in third place is Steve Dance. Steve, good start to the race. Started to go off at the end though.
Yeah, I mean, mid-race the car was very, very good, and I thought I was going to be able to catch Nick, but for some reason the car went really bad, and I suffered with a lot of understeer. And the longer the race went, the worse it got. But hey ho, we'll alter the car a little bit and hopefully get better for next time.
So you are going to make a few setup changes for the next race?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, I mean, although there was a lot of oil on the circuit, then I don't know. Maybe that's why there was a lot of gearbox failures, I think, and put the oil on the track. But yeah, we will alter the car for the next race, definitely.
I'm back with Lee Rogers after the first race. Lee started quite near the back, came through to 6th. You told us earlier you had a few problems with your brakes. Did that all get sorted out?
Yeah, we had the first 2 or 3 laps. It was a little touch and go until the brakes bedded themselves in. Then it seemed to work all right. Had a little bit of a problem with Paul Jones. He came up the inside of me and then he lost his steering column, I think, and took us both off the track, which then put us right to the back again. Had a bit of a lonely race then. We picked off a few as we come through. A few other people dropped by the wayside and we finished okay. The car was going relatively well, really.